44 shit, you know what I mean? Busy man. Look, when that shit drop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and they head with that shit.
Fine, I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it, got it out the mud, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel, he nice but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. They mad, I'm too solid, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. No, they want my life, I ain't worried, I got rank for real. I got real soldiers, kill for me, nigga, watch yourself. They said you been in beast mode lately, you is not yourself. When you dropping that fire, precious marriage, they inquiring. They can't stop what's coming, but I see them conspiring. Cross the line, them firing. This bitch here, finna break the spin. No kindness, I don't trust you, circle small. You can keep your features. Me and my niggas don't keep no secrets. In the field like Jeepers Creepers. Say they want some smoke, dawg. So I brought these chimney sweeps. Ain't coming like we coming, you can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we running, bitch, don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas till the end, till them do us part. So if you wanna leave, you can leave, bitch. Bless your heart, fine in. I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it, got it out the mud, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel, he nice but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. Ooh, I got a man, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. I heard they want my life, I ain't worried, I got rank for real. Take over in effect, yeah, I'm fully focused. You might not see it on me, just know it's women, that bitch fully loaded. Ooh, yeah, we up and rolling. Told them I need major motion. Think I'm joking, I'ma school them niggas like they baby Jody. Got it out the dust, now I'm too clean, don't know why they hate me. What you want out life, dawg? Guns and butter, baby boy. You PK top, dawg. Certified road runner. I'ma turn that econ line van to a damn tank. I got chopper stash in the attic like they Anne Frank. They had that shit on lock till I snapped on them like bolt cutters. You cannot play both sides, gotta choose your colors. See him throwing that one up with that W, that's my blood, bro. Fine in. I ain't show no mercy, I'm gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it, got it out the dust, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel, he nice but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. Ooh, I got a made, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. Said they want my life, I ain't worried, I got rank for real. Damn, killing motherfucker.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my people. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
One day you'll see just how it feels.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit a Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback to bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a
Facebook. You know what I mean? So let's just be real, y'all. Let's get into the real meat of who these people are. If you could, Baba Gashar, let me see. If you could. So what we need to understand is the people that call themselves Jews today, no, I'm sorry, they don't even call themselves Jews. They call themselves Jewish. Black people, we have to actually put our thinking caps on when we deal with the people of this world. They call themselves Jewish. You have to understand language. You have to understand what certain words mean. The word ish means pertaining to, similarity, like, in you know, it means similar to it. So I couldn't think of the other word I was trying to use. You know what I mean? But it means pertaining to, having a similarity of, you know what I mean? Or being similar to in nature, tradition, things like that. So when they say similar to, they are close to, they practice or act like or have taken on the nature as far as they could of the real Jews, right, of the original Jews, the Jews of antiquity, the Jews of Christ's time, the Jews of Salakia, of King David's time, of Solomon's time, of Moses' time. You know what I mean? They are not those people. They have adapted the traditions as far as they could, because you have to understand, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have what they used to say back in the 60s and 70s. They got soul. Mm-hmm. Okay, and the Native Americans. I'm sorry, I'm gonna even use the Hawaiians. The Hawaiians call Caucasian people Howleys. You ever heard of that, Lacombe? All right, so if you ever go to Hawaii, I'm joined by my main man right here, Precinct Officer 500, Lacombe Yala, Salaki. But if you ever go to Hawaii and you hear them use a word, you hear them use a phrase called howley, they're saying breathless ones or soulless ones. Howleys mean someone with no breath. No breath meaning no soul. And I know this because a friend of mine in the world lived in Hawaii for like 5-6 years. You know what I mean? And he got cool with the Hawaiian people. And so they have a phrase for the Caucasian race. They call them howleys. They call them breathless, soulless people. Okay? So you're dealing with somebody with no soul. All right? Versus people with soul. So when you see these people, they can only emulate us to a certain point, because the spirit that we have in us, the energy that we have in us that's granted to us from the Most High, they do not have. So all they can do is flaunt their ancient Yiddish traditions around in front of us and make us feel like we're doing something wrong. But there's something about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that's inherited in us that they cannot imitate. Now, what we're finna do right now is get into an actual, factual, physical history of these converts and how they came to be. Go ahead, if you could.
Khan. Mm-hmm. In the southwestern part of Arabia.
Of where?
Arabia.
The southwestern part of Arabia. Now keep in mind, Alexander the Greek did a lot of slaughtering and conquering in these Arabian lands. Alexander the Greek, you know what I mean? Decline that. Alexander the Greek did a lot of slaughtering and conquering in what's now known as the Middle East, okay? And during that time, him and his kin, him and his ilk, they did a lot of raping. They had a lot of children in this region, okay, in the Middle East. That's where you get the modern day so-called Arabs and Saudi Arabians and all of these people, the Palestinians and all. They're all the children of Alexander. Majority of them are children of Alexander, okay? You have some of the original people still in that land, but a lot of the ones you see out here owning gas stations and doing things like that. There and that run the oil of the world. Those are Ottoman Turks.
Right.
Okay, those are not the real Arabs. Don't get it wrong, black people. Let's not get it simple. The Arabs are not black. The original Arabs are not black. They are a dark-skinned race,
Right.
but they are not black. We're the black people of the earth. We're the Negroes. We're the Israelites. They're not us. Before Esau came onto the planet, everybody was dark-skinned.
Right.
Majority of people were dark-skinned, brown-skinned. So let's get off of this. Black people were the original Arabs. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. The original Arabs were a dark-skinned race.
Right.
Just like Ethiopians are a dark-skinned race, just like Zimbabweans are a dark-skinned race. Okay? Just like XYZ all across the planet were dark-skinned people. The Egyptians were a dark-skinned race of people. Everything on the planet was dark at one point, and they weren't us. Okay? So every dark-skinned, like we used to say in the South, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Right.
Just because we got the same skin complexions, just because we have certain physical similarities, and it really goes into the skin, because when you get into phenotype and features, we have nothing in common with these people.
That's right.
I can look and see an African, and then I can look and tell a Negro. There is a physical difference between us. And the scriptures even say that there's a difference between us and the Egyptians. But let me digress off that point and get back onto these fake Jews. Go ahead.
Known in antiquity as Himyar, and corresponding today approximately with Yemen.
With who?
With Yemen.
Known in antiquity is part of Arabia. Was known as Himyar, which in modern day is Yemen. The children of Alexander settled in Yemen. These are Edomites. Okay, go ahead.
The local population converted to Judaism.
They did what?
Converted to Judaism.
So the local population in Yemen converted to Judaism. When?
At some point in the late 4th century.
At some point in the late 4th century. That's around 300-400, the year, not 300 or 400 years ago.
Right.
Around the year 300, 400 after the death of Christ. Because don't get it wrong. AD means after death, BC means before Christ. Okay? So they calculate history, modern day history. Now they want to say before Common Era, BCE. You get what I'm saying? And after whatever they say it is. You know what I mean? But until the last, 20 years or so, 20, 30 years, BC and AD stood for two things: before Christ and after death. All right? So everything that you know as far as a timeline. So that's for all you so-called scholars out there, all you so-called smart guys that know history and claim that you're some type of a historical scholar.
Right.
Everything you know about history in the world was shaped after and based upon the birth and the death of the man Hamashiach Yahushua, the man you all ignorantly call Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Everything. So don't get it confused. You know what I mean? Everything you know is based off of the Israelites. It's based off of our history. It's based off of our king. Even these people that we're reading for. It says that their population came in. Oh, you got it? Go ahead.
The local population converted to Judaism at some point in the late 4th century. And by about 425, it's like at 425, a Jewish kingdom had already taken shape.
So by the year 425, they started making their Jewish kingdom. Okay? So don't So get this myth out your head. They talk about, oh, we go all the way back.
Right.
You know, we're the people of Moses. Our bloodline exists. Stop believing that DNA nonsense.
Right.
Stop believing all of the bull crap that they're putting inside of your heads. They're lying to you.
Right.
They have no problems with lying.
Right.
They have no qualms about lying. Lying is a part of their lifestyle.
Mhm.
Lying is a part of their tradition at this point. They have been lying since the year 425.
Kind of one con.
They have been lying since 425, and this is 2022, about to be 23. Go ahead.
Slice, so I got a precept.
Please.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2.
Oh, wait.
Judah mourneth.
What happened?
Judah mourneth.
Judah what?
Judah mourneth.
Why is Judah in mourning? Later on in the scripture in Revelation, the Lord says, I know thy poverty.
Right.
And thy tribulations. That's why Judah is mourning. Because right now, Judah is in the ghetto. Judah is in the projects. Judah is in the barrio. Judah is in the reservations. Judah is starving. Judah is selling drugs. It's on the strip pole. Judah is on crack and heroin and cocaine and barbiturates and dying of fentanyl and hooked on weed and can't stop smoking cigarettes and are alcoholics and molesting their children and being molested, being raped, being shot down by the police. That's why Judah is in mourning. Not because Judah runs the diamond district.
Right.
Not because Judah runs the music industry. Not because Judah can get mad at a nigga and mute him out the entire world and cost him a $2 billion contract in a 2-day period.
Right.
Judah is mourning because Judah is no longer in their position of rulership as the head tribe of Israel and also the head tribe of the world.
That's right.
That's why Judah's in mourning. Go ahead.
Salaki, if I could, what you're saying is so heavy. Just why it was so heavy that Cap, what Cap said, and how these devils, how they're making their moves way too fast.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're awakening a sleeping lion.
Right.
You got the whole world already thought that Kanye was crazy. Everybody thought Kanye was crazy. So if the world thinks Kanye is crazy and Kanye come out and say, well, black people are Semitic too, then I would think that it would be wise to not even respond. Because the world thinks he's crazy. But when you start to shut him down on all forms of social media, and then you tell Kyrie Irving that his requirement to play ball again, to play a game that puts fans in your seats. Right. You tell him that his requirement is to go speak to the head Jewish people of the community. Right. Right. It goes to show that maybe there is something to what these people are saying.
See, and here's the thing, right? And like you said, that all right. Salaki, if I was a person trying to prove that I was not in control of everything, that I wasn't in control of the world, that I did. If somebody came out and said, you know what, my yard is secretly in control of everything.
Right.
He's the power, the financial force behind everything. You know what I mean? And you got to pay attention, because if you do, you will see that he's the one that controls the world.
Right.
I wouldn't go and then mute you out of the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to have power to be able to shut somebody down the way that Kanye, Kyrie, and Kyrie Irving have been shut down, the way that Nick Cannon was shut down. Nick Cannon was forced to kiss all types
right,
of Jewish behind to keep wilding out and to keep from having. Nick Cannon was worried on a level where Kanye wasn't.
Right.
Kanye isn't. Kanye is like, hey, I still got $400 million. I lost $2 billion in 3 days, but I still got $400 million. And these crackers are still forced to say that I got $400 million, and it hurts their soul.
If I could.
Go ahead.
And even with that, Kanye still feel like he lost everything.
Yeah.
By him going from billions of dollars to 400 million, he feel like he ain't got nothing to lose no more.
Hey, you know what? That's the spirit of the Lord. Listen, I went from having $400 to having $4.
Right.
All right. And I felt I ain't got nothing to lose at that point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The minute in school, we don't have $2 billion contracts. We don't have $400 million.
Right.
Okay. We risking hundreds of dollars. We risking eviction out of our houses and apartments.
Right.
We're risking foreclosure. We're risking our cars getting repossessed. We're risking the food in our bellies. We're risking our food stamps. We're risking our public aid. We're risking our careers and jobs that we have.
Right.
We're risking being disavowed by the universities that some of us have graduated from.
That's right.
They'll take your degree back.
That's right.
Oh, they will take it back. Don't think they won't. We're risking being muted in a position where, as far as a worldview, we're already silent.
Right.
We don't have a voice in this world. If you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you do not have a voice.
Right.
So when they tell you to go out and vote, that's why we fight to vote so hard, because we want to express our opinion and be heard, because we know we don't have a voice.
That's right.
Well, my thing is, like Kanye said, they can't do nothing to me because they've already muted me out the world. My thing is this: you can't do a damn thing to me because I already don't got a voice in this world.
Right.
I'm already silent. I'm already part of a silent minority and oppressed people, where if I say the wrong thing, I get put in Facebook jail.
Right.
I get kicked off of Instagram. I get kicked off of Twitter. I get kicked off of Snapchat. I get kicked off of TikTok just for telling the truth about my people and where we are from and trying to give the identity back to my people. If we're wrong, as all of you all say that we are, what's the problem with us being wrong? Why is it such a big deal? Why is it such a worldwide dilemma and catastrophe for Black people to say that we are the real Jews and God's chosen people? What's the problem? You know what the problem is? In the scriptures, it says once we wake up and come back to our identity and practice our traditions and get into our right mind and our right spirit and follow the law, statutes, and commandments and follow our King and follow our God wholeheartedly, that your heathen empire will fall and we will be back on top again.
Right.
That's what the problem is. That's what the Jewish man does not want to happen. That's why he mutes Kanye, and that's why on Facebook I went to share this class, look, and it said that I've been reported for spam. I ain't never spammed a goddamn person in my life. What I have done was share classes and podcasts and radio shows from the Isupk under Commander General Yohana. I've shared the truth, and now you're trying to block me. Well, guess what? You can't block me. You can't mute me. You can't stop me. You can't destroy me, because Barakatah Yahweh Shah, the Lord is with me. Go ahead.
Got another precept.
Oh, please do.
It's the book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 5.
Read.
Behold, I am against thee.
I'm what?
I am against
That
thee.
is the Lord talking to you, heathen. That is the Lord talking to you, non-Black, Hispanic, or Native American people.
Right.
That is the Lord talking to you, those who say that they are Jews, but are not. That's the Lord talking to you. Read.
Saith the Lord of hosts.
Said who?
Saith the Lord of
So
hosts.
if you thought I was lying about who said it, it just said the Lord of hosts. Read.
And I will discover thy skirts upon thy face.
And I will what?
I will discover thy skirts upon thy face.
As we say in this how you know the Bible is a black book.
Right.
This how you know Black people are the children of the Lord. Because in modern times, you know what that just said? The Lord's going to lift up your skirt.
Right.
It said to discover your skirt on your face. How does your skirt How does the skirt get on your face? Because it got lifted up. The Lord is going to lift up your skirt. Read.
And I will show the king, it's like it, and I will show the nations thy nakedness.
And what?
And I will show the nations thy nakedness.
Now, if you thought that I was wrong about the lift up your skirt, it just said gonna show when your skirt get lifted up, it's showing your nakedness.
Right.
It's showing your private parts. It's gonna expose them pink panties that you wear.
Right.
You know what I mean? You thought we was playing up in here? You thought the Lord was playing? You are out of your mind.
Right.
To be playing with us, to be trying to stop this truth from coming out. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what your skin color is. And I don't care what nation you come from. Even the ones amongst our own brothers and sisters who are trying to stop this truth from coming out.
Right.
That are trying to cause division. You know what I want? Mark them.
Kind of kind.
The ones that are trying, there are some of you on Facebook, you are nothing but Facebook Israelites.
Right.
You are meme scholars, you are Facebook Israelites. Your whole existence is to cause derision and division amongst our people. And the Lord is going to lift up your skirt and expose you out.
Right.
I don't care what you call yourself. Yahashua, Yahuwah, Yamadamada, Yohanathan bin whatever, Yosef bin whatever, the Levi this, and the Ashkenaz, and the Judah this, and the Israel that. It don't matter, all them fake names and fake titles that you label onto yourself. The Lord is watching you divide his people.
That's right.
While his real priests and prophets are fighting every day against everything this world has to throw against us to unite his people.
That's right.
And you laugh at our videos, you laugh at our posts, you mock us, you heckle us, you try to make us look like the most ignorant niggas in the entire world when we are actually very educated men up in here. There are brothers that have not graduated college that can shut your college degree mouth up.
Right.
There are brothers that have graduated college that can really that will shut your mouth. There are officers of 50 that will take your pastor, your imam, your rabbi, your reverend, your preacher, and shut them down.
Right.
There are captains in here who your favorite rabbi or your favorite preacher or your favorite imam or your favorite reverend or spiritual advisor or a hotep Negro, whatever you want to call them, cannot hold a hat to that are not even worthy to be in their presence.
That's right.
And if they open their mouth, 5 minutes later, their mouth is shut and they're gone. Don't get it wrong. The Lord is with the Isupk, the Commander General Yohana.
That's right.
All the way down from the troopers to Commander General Yohana. You better watch your step when you come against the priests and prophets of the Lord.
That's right.
Because if you can and will get destroyed. You know what I mean? If I could.
Romans chapter 16, verse 17.
Read.
Now beseech you, brethren, mark them.
Do what?
Mark them.
He said, I beseech you, brethren. It's up to us. They say, oh man, why don't y'all just get together with everybody? Forgive and forget. Everybody just, no, it is our job to mark them. It's our job. He said, I beseech you, brethren.
Right.
So it's our job and our duty to mark the people, to point out, make a public spectacle, and show everybody who these people are that do what?
Which cause division.
That do what?
Which cause
The
division.
ones that are really causing division. The reason we're saying that, because Commander General Yohana gave the order years ago, before I ever came into this truth. Commanding General Yohana gave the order, made the offer, sent the invitation. He did all of these things. Captain Tazaryak went to Jerusalem and came back and went and visited every last one.
Right.
Of these so-called Black Hebrew Israelite camps and churches and tried to sit at the table with their leaders and come to a peaceful agreement. He tried to make peace with these brothers. He tried to come to them in the spirit of brotherhood. He tried to see eye to eye with them. He sat back and talked to them, of course, under the authorization of Commander General Yohan. And he tried to get the body of Israel from being scattered, dismembered parts to be back into one body. He tried to pull everybody together. And guess what these brothers did? They did a unity camp and an Israelite summit and all this other crap and did not invite the Isupk. When every year the Isupk invites all of you to our Passover, to the Passover. All of you to our feast days. All of you to the cookouts. We invite you to the cookout. But you don't want to come. You'd rather have a feast day. You'd rather have a unity camp where y'all get to fighting each other and calling the police. Go ahead.
If I could, what you're saying is so heavy because a lot of times they want to come up against the Isupk. They want to come up against us for saying the stuff that we're saying. Like when we say stuff like we're the home of the truth.
Right.
When we say stuff like if you want the truth, you come to the Isupk under Commander General Yohan.
That's right.
Because no other place have it except for us. And then they'll tell us that they have the truth. And then they'll say, well, John the Baptist had the truth too. But then they'll turn around and disobey a direct order that says, gather yourselves together. But they'll go to their little unity camps and quote the verse while they're disobeying that order. If I'm gonna gather myself together, I'm going to where everything originated at.
Right. And you know what? And Salak, if I may, that's what I did. I watched all these Israelite groups. I watched everybody out there. And then you know what I said? You know what I need to do? I need to find where it all originated from. So let me go to the source. Instead of going to a branch, let me go to the root of the tree.
Right.
Instead of me going to a stream over here that and going into a nice little pond that looks calm and got some fish and looks like it's fresh water, let me go to the river. Let me go to the sea, the ocean. Let me go to the lake. Let me go to where the fresh water started.
Right.
Let me go to the source. I don't want to go to a branch or a break off or a spout or whatever. I want to go to the root. I want to go to the source, the foundation of it all. And all of these groups say One West, claim One West, talk about Abba Bivens, talk about 1969, but none of them are in the school that Abba Bivens started. None of them are in the school that was established in 1969. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, these men, these brothers right here that you see here that say that we are in the home of the truth, we are in the school that started in 1969.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? We are in the home of the truth. And we are keeping up the traditions that the men before us started.
That's right.
While you all are going off, branching off and doing your own thing, you're just as bad as these fake Jews out here. And if we could, Slavia, let me get back on topic, because you know I'll blaze on these cats. But let's get this next piece of history about these Jewish cats and where they came from and how they got to call themselves Jews. Now, here's the thing about it, right? Keep this in mind. They know they're not the real Jews. Their history is all on the internet. Their history is written in books. You have one of them named Arthur Kessler, who wrote a book called The 13 Tribes, where he said the only way that the white Jewish man can be a real Jew is if there was a 13th tribe. And we all know it's only 12 tribes in Israel.
Right.
You got it?
God, sir.
Yeah, bring that up.
History of the Jews in Germany. The history of the Jews in Germany go back at least to the year 321.
To when?
The year 321.
So they've been in Germany. That's why you hear the phrase German Jews. You hear them say German Jews a lot? Because they've been in Germany since the year 321. They've been in that land since 321. And then the so-called Jewish empire. Now keep in mind, Jerusalem fell about what, 50, 70 years after Christ died?
Mm-hmm.
In 70 AD, 70 years after Christ died, Jerusalem, the whole nation of Israel was conquered by Vespasian. Okay? And we were scattered into the parts of northern Africa. And then the Greek, the Roman slave markets were full of so-called of Jews, of black Jewish slaves. Okay? And we were sold into the different parts of Europe, into the different parts of the so-called Middle East.
Right.
We were starting to be sold then. And then the Arabs came in and did what's called the sub-Saharan slave trade and ran into Africa, the northern Africa, and was hunting us down because it was very profitable to sell nation builders to other nations. Go ahead.
If I could, if only if I could.
Yo, you most definitely can.
What you're saying is so heavy because I remember years ago in southern Indiana, I was slaving at Amazon, and brothers thought that it was a good thing to have an Arabic woman,
right,
or a Iranian woman as their prize, not even understanding that we was in slavery to them. If I could, there was a time before I came into the truth. It was an Arabic woman that I damn near married. You know what I'm saying? Like by the way, you know what I'm saying? Not by Esau's marriage, but by ours. And I mean her father and everything, her mother, everybody wanted me to be with her. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like it didn't happen because her grandfather wanted her to be with them.
One of them.
You know what I'm saying? And I at the time I was thinking like, yo, that's crazy. But me and her ended up being friends for about a good couple months. But coming into the truth, I'm finding out like them niggas had us in they had us in slavery.
Yeah, yes, them niggas did have us in slavery.
Here's
the thing. Before the white man, before the so-called white man had us in slavery, these so-called Arabs, the so-called Middle Eastern people had us in slavery. We were enslaved in Saudi Arabia. We were enslaved in Palestine. We were enslaved in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan and all of these places. The Lord said that he was going to scatter us amongst all nations to the four corners of the earth. You have to understand that prophecy. It did not begin with the transatlantic slave trade. It began in 70 AD. The year 70. And this is 2022. It started in 70. It really picked up in the 1800s. Okay, that's when the mass majority of us, the transatlantic slave trade is when the mass majority of us. That's why when we break down who are the people that were responsible for the transatlantic slave trade, that we include the Jewish man. Because the Jewish man had been in a Jewish kingdom since the year 425. Don't get this fake, Salaki, don't get this fake history that I'm going to have to come read right now to think that that was the only time that the Jewish people became Jewish. If you could read that.
At midnight.
At when?
At midnight.
At the stroke of 12. At midnight. As they call it in this kingdom, the 0 hour. Go ahead.
On May 14th, 1948.
When?
1948.
1948. Read.
The provisional government of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel.
The provisional government of Israel. That means they weren't even the full government. That provisional means the startup, the beginning. The framework, the shell, the mock-up. That means it's going to start. That means they had some people in place that wanted to be, but wasn't. Go ahead.
on that same day, Salakia, the provisional government of Israel proclaimed a new state of Israel.
A what?
A new state of Israel.
A new what?
A new state of Israel.
You have to understand what you're looking at today is a new state of Israel. Pay attention to the language.
Right.
See, a lot of you that get on and want to laugh at our posts and laugh at how we dress and laugh at how we what's the word I'm looking for? When you show something, emulate, how we emulate the traditions and the energy and the spirit and the ways of our ancestors. Y'all want to laugh at us. A lot of you cats that have worshiped that Jewish synagogue and worshiped that white man and have been taught by them, y'all mock us more than anybody.
Right.
And a lot of y'all be some very funny looking, bug-eyed, geeky looking, fat, overweight, nasty, you know what I mean? Can't get a woman, nigh onto homosexual looking cats. You know what I mean? And everybody that has faced any of these cats, you know it's true. That's who you are. Your spirit is so, you've been so emasculated. You have been so taken advantage of. You have been so abused and used and made to feel like nothing that you come against and attack your own people. Well, let me tell you something now. You need to stop attacking us and attack your Jewish masters.
Right.
They the ones that got you eating on them candy bars for comfort food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? ISUPK gonna have you doing push-ups.
Right.
And sit-ups and learning Yakara.
Right.
And learning how to be a man.
Right.
They're gonna have you eating kosher candy bars.
If I could.
Go ahead.
Not only are they gonna have you eat kosher candy bars,
Please do.
but they're gonna marry you to a man in Tel Aviv.
Oh my goodness. All right. They gonna send you to Tel Aviv and they're gonna have you marry a kosher homosexual.
Right.
You're gonna have some I can't even say it. No. I was trying to get it. I can't even say it. I'm gonna say it though. You're gonna have some kosher homosexuals. Not under the Torah, but under the Talmud.
Right.
You know, in the Talmud, they say it's okay for men to molest children. They say it's lawful. Homosexuality is lawful in the Talmud if it's done in the spirit of white Jesus. If it's done in the spirit, I'm sorry, they don't believe in Jesus. They believe in Zeus. That's their white god. So if you do it in the spirit of the Talmud, if you follow their rabbinical teachings, you can smoke kosher cigarettes, you can eat kosher pork, you can have kosher homosexuality, you can do a lot of things. And you brothers that follow after that Jewish tradition, y'all are some of the worst, the biggest and worst traitors. That's why when it said, mark them that cause division amongst the children, you are some of the main ones that cause the most division.
Right.
You all hop on brothers' posts and make some of the most outlandish statements, and it's so non-black. You say some of the most non-black things because you know why? That Jewish devil that you worship over the black God, the nigger God, is causing you to hate your. Give me two masters.
Kind of one kind.
Go ahead.
If I could, I got a precept too.
Go ahead. I already know you did.
Proverbs 29:2.
Please read.
When the righteous are in authority.
The who?
When the righteous are in authority,
read.
The people rejoice.
They do what?
The people rejoice.
The whole world is in pain and mourning, suffering and crying and praying and wishing and hoping. You know why? You know why? Because the righteous are not in authority.
You're right.
Do you know why? Because the wicked rule the earth.
Right.
Do you know why? Because the true children of the Bible, the real Israelites, the real Jews do not know who they are. And they're at the bottom of society, while the fake ones, the identity thieves,
that's right,
the heathens are at the top.
That's right.
Keep going.
Kana. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
The people what?
The people mourn.
I just broke that down for you. Go ahead. You break it. Go. I'm slack.
Nah, you too wild, sir. Now what you're saying was so heavy because when you look at everything that's going on, we're looking at a world, not just a kingdom, but a whole goddamn world that's ruled by our oppressors.
That's right.
And the world is turned upside down right now.
Right.
And the only thing that will fix it is for a nigga named Yahushua Mashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, to crack the sky and free with 200 million angels and free niggas, spicks, and savages and put us in our rightful place so the world can be turned right side up again.
Damn right. And what you're saying is it's going to take an army. Black people, that's why the scriptures say the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Kanye West could have beat Kim Kardashian half to death.
Right. And
he would not have lost $2 billion.
Right.
Kyrie Irving could have went and kicked a baby in the teeth. Go ahead.
It's like Kanye would have been the richest nigga in jail.
He really would have. He'd have been the $2 billion convict. Kyrie Irving would have kicked a baby's teeth in and would not have been suspended for 5 games.
Right.
Or if he was suspended, he wouldn't have had to pay a fine.
Right.
Dave Chappelle could have went home and beat the brakes off of his Korean, Vietnamese, his Asian wife. And they'd said, well, that's just between Dave and his wife. You know, he needs counseling, domestic violence. They wouldn't have threatened to mute him. They wouldn't have said nothing about his Saturday Night Live skit. If he'd have went on Saturday Night Live and made fun of the fact that he smacked his Asian wife up for being disrespectful, people would have laughed. It wouldn't even have made the news. But if Nick Cannon would have sucker punched Mariah Carey, it wouldn't have made it. It might have made the news, but guess what? It'd have been forgotten about, like Chris Brown and Rihanna. It had just been an incident between that man and his wife. He wouldn't have had to pay. He wouldn't have risked losing Wild 'N Out. Matter of fact, on Wild 'N Out, they would sing and rap and make a joke about it to embarrass him.
Right.
He wouldn't have lost his show. He wouldn't have had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Anti-Defamation League. He wouldn't have had to go on a public broadcast and kiss a Jewish man, a Jewish rabbi's nasty, pale, wrinkled, I'm sure bacon smelling behind, wet dog smelling butt. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have had to prostrate himself that way. He'd have been okay.
Right.
But these men did the one thing. They said that black people are the real Jews.
Right.
Oh my God. Everybody stop the press. It's the end of the world. This is the thing you have to ask yourself. Why is that such a big deal? Just those words. Just those words alone can get me blocked on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat. What's the other one? MeWe. Every social media platform is ready to ban me and my class right now for saying the real Jews are black. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
The what?
The ox knoweth his owner.
The ox knows who he belongs to. The ox is a very stubborn animal. So much so in the world, they say you're stubborn as an ox. If you don't want to move, if you don't want to bend or flex, they say you're stubborn as an ox because an ox is a very strong and very stubborn animal. It's a workhorse. It's a work animal.
Right.
Okay? The oxen will plow the field. The ox will pull a plow and plow a field unlike anything you've ever seen.
That's right.
But if that ox don't want to move, there's nothing on this earth. You're not going to move it.
That's right.
You can whip it. You can curse at it. You can kick it. You can punch it. You can push it. It's not going to move. It's going to stand there and look at you like, whatever. So the ox, one of the most stubborn creatures on the planet, one of the strongest and most stubborn creatures on the planet, knows its owner. Read.
And the ass.
And the what?
And the ass.
The donkey.
His master's crib.
The donkey, another stubborn, you are a stubborn ass.
Mm-hmm.
You're stubborn as a donkey, stubborn as a mule. Okay, here's the thing. The reason the scriptures name these two animals is because across the world, these are known as two of the most stubborn animals on the planet. Go ahead.
If I could, also the dumbest.
And the dumbest. Dumb as an ox. You get a big lumbering oaf of a football player, they're going to call him what? They call him ox or they call him moose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Only if I could.
Mm-hmm.
You go on social media. I remember back in the day, a couple years ago, they had even Clubhouse. Charlamagne the God had. I don't know if he still do it, but he had
Jackass of the month.
Kana Wakanda. Donkey of the day goes to
That's right.
Kana Wakanda.
That's like if I
Kana
could,
Wakanda.
as he said, two of the most stubborn and stupidest animals of the. When somebody does something dumb, I mean, when they do something really, really, really stupid, what do you call them? Jackass. Now, you know, if you call somebody a jackass, they done really, really, really done something. You know what I mean? Because they done done something absolutely, completely, totally stupid and idiotic.
Right.
But these two stupid and stubborn animals know their owner and where they belong.
Right.
Read.
But Israel.
But what?
But Israel doth not know.
But Israel what?
Doth not know.
You don't know, black man, Hispanic man, Native man. You don't know whose you are. You don't know where you belong. And some of the biggest jackasses out there are the ones that go to the synagogue.
Right.
Are the ones that follow up under the Jewish man, and you forsaking your brothers to follow underneath your slave master. And you are mocking, heckling, trolling, and fighting against your own brothers to big up your slave masters.
Right.
The ones that paid for the ships that have your ancestors brought over here. The ones that financed the slave trade.
Right.
They financed it.
Right.
They financed the destruction of your people. They financed the rape of your great, 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 great grandmother and grandfather and uncle and auntie. But you want to be up in the synagogue eating lox and bagels with them, trying to show some type of kinship and brotherhood, hoping you got a brisk.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Those people are the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
If it could, give me two masters.
Kana Wakan. Book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve two masters.
No man can what?
Can serve two masters.
Listen here, this is the wickedness of the history of these people. We've shown where these people have come from. Okay? They came from Saudi Arabia. They came from a Saudi Arabian empire. They grew from Alexander. They're Ottoman Turks. They're the seed of Alexander. They came out of Saudi Arabia. Ain't no Middle East. It came out of the Saudi Arabian empire that later became known as Yemen. Yemen eventually got conquered by a Jew. And that Jew subjugated Yemen and forced them all to convert to Judaism. Because when you're under the rulership of a Jewish king, of a real Jew, you're not going to have your heathen ways anymore. He's going to make sure that the empire that he rules over follows after the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
And do everything that is, so he doesn't lose his rulership or get punished by the Lord. So a Jew conquered what's now known as Yemen and forced those people to convert to Judaism. And years and years later, this happened around 400 BC, about 400 AD. And now all this time later, they're still following these traditions. And now that the real Jews do not rule the earth anymore, they have staked claim to our heritage and our rulership and where we're supposed to be. They try to sit on Yahweh's throne. They even got a fake Messiah over there building steam. calling himself some type of Messiah.
Right.
Yeah, all right. Good luck. Go ahead.
If I could,
Mm-hmm.
and it's heavy that you bringing that out because I was going to mention that to you, but I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
My rib told me about it.
Mm.
And she was, you know what I'm saying, of course, being a Christian.
Right, right.
Know, she don't understand that everything that's going on is biblical prophecy.
Yes, it is.
And it has to be fulfilled.
Yes, it does.
Like this, they got they believe that Christ is in Israel right now.
Right.
And they believe that he got the little dumbass Slahia, the dumb shit on his head.
Right.
And the little fake little twirls coming down his head.
Right.
And they believe he's gonna do what Christ did in the Bible. And then they believe that they're supposed to be exiled for 400 years. Like they don't believe that has even happened yet.
Already, right.
But not understanding that the real Jews have been exiled from our land for over 400 years.
Damn right.
And that filthy, wicked bastard is not our king. Mm-hmm. And we will never submit to him.
Ever.
And our king is going to crack the sky, and we're going to have his head, and we're going to serve it to our king on a silver platter.
Right.
Salakia.
Hey, Salakia, and what you bringing out? Damn right. So what you bringing out? So listen, I got a challenge for you. We're going to call this a Jew challenge.
Right.
My king versus your king.
Right.
My Messiah versus your Messiah.
Right.
Let's see what happens when the dark-skinned Messiah comes back. And let's see what happens when your non-melanated, pale-skinned, kosher pork eating, kosher prostitute buying, kosher little boy loving.
Right.
Kosher baby penis sucking.
Right.
Messiah faces ours.
That's right.
And then let's put it all on the line. Let's put it all on the line. 1-on-1, my Messiah versus your Messiah. Let's see who wins. Whoever wins gets control and rulership of the entire world. They get the kingdom. My Messiah versus your Messiah. Let's see who wins. I already know who does, because Revelations tells us who wins. Go ahead.
If I could.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a battle that they'll never take.
No, they won't.
Because they know what's inside themselves, which is why what Cap said was so heavy. The reason why they can't even mention Christ, Yahushua, why they can't believe in him, is because to believe in Yahushua means to believe in a black man that's going to free Israel from slavery from out of the north.
That's right.
And that's the thing that they don't know how to parallel scriptures. They don't understand that when Jeremiah said that he's gonna free, that there's gonna be another Passover that say, "Blessed be the Lord God," that basically, I'm paraphrasing, that redeemed us from the land of the north.
Right.
That they don't understand that that's our King redeeming us from North America.
Listen, and if I could, what you bringing out is so heavy. I hate to interrupt.
Kana Wakan.
If I could.
Kana Wakan.
Look, they are so terrible. Their whole empire developed after the scriptures were finished.
Right.
Okay. Revelations had been written by the time they established their little empire.
Right.
By the time they established their Jewish kingdom in 425 AD. Okay. So they had access to the scriptures. They could see the Old and the New Testament.
Right.
And you know what they saw? They said, see this part right here?
Mm-hmm.
Skin of bronze, as it burnt in the furnace, woolly hair on his head and his face. Ooh, that's not our Messiah. Go ahead.
If I could, they go to the next verse, and then say, "Oh well, his face was bright like the sun." So that must mean he looked like us.
There you go. Right.
He might have his skin might have been dark.
Right.
But he was definitely a white man because his face was bright like the sun.
Right. And all the black scriptures, they try to say, well, Mashugana.
Right.
It doesn't mean a skin color. It means their condition.
Right.
When it says they're black onto the ground, I've heard this being, and I've heard them say that. It's not describing their skin color and saying that they're, different shades of brown. No, it's saying that they were in a state of mourning.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That they're in a state of mourning, and they're mourning and they're sad all the way down to the ground. Well, listen, our ancestors were an agricultural people.
Right.
Okay? We were shepherds. We tilled the land. We tended to sheep. You know what I mean? Joseph was a carpenter. Christ is the son of a carpenter. Okay?
Right.
So our references are agricultural references.
Right.
There's no way you can get around that. You say the real Jews are black onto the ground. When you dig into the ground and you look at the black in the ground, it's a different shades of brown. It goes from black all the way up to light skin brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You go from Wesley Snipes to Christopher Williams. Now, who's a famous light-skinned nigga, right? You go from Wesley Snipes to Drake. All in the ground. That's what that scripture means. All right? Don't get it twisted. Go ahead. I see it in you. It's almost time. All right.
Okay.
If I could, give me the Revelations. Synagogue. You know what I want. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the thing we have to keep in mind, you know what I'm saying, before we get up out of here. History. The history we've just shown you. These people came into Germany around 300 something AD. They got conquered and they converted to Judaism around 400 something AD. They established their Jewish kingdom by 425 AD. Then in the 1600s and 1800s, the 1800s, the 1600s and the 1800s, they finally transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic slave trade started, what was that, 1492 with Christopher Columbus. Who do you think financed Christopher Columbus?
It's like 1419.
1419? Who do you think financed Christopher Columbus to sail? Who do you think gave Christopher Columbus? Come on, man. They've been financing our destruction for thousands of years. Okay? Get this fantasy out your mind that these people are really the chosen people of the Lord. Christ, if they were really the chosen people of the Lord, the Messiah would be here already on earth, on the throne of the earth, ruling with them. If they were the chosen people of the Lord, why are they not sitting on? America sits on the throne of the world.
Right.
Okay? America is the chief country in the world, the mega power, the superpower in the world, not Israel. Israel has the money. Israel makes a lot of power moves. Israel runs a lot of stuff. But America is the kingdom in the north that the scriptures speak of. And when the scriptures speak of the kingdom in the north, they're talking about America. But this is what the scriptures say when it talks about those that are over in our land right now claiming to be us. You got the scripture?
Read. The book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Behold.
What?
Behold.
Watch, pay attention to, see, and observe. Read.
I will make them of the synagogue of Satan.
Of what?
Of the synagogue of Satan.
These people are the synagogue of Satan. And you'll know they're the synagogue of Satan by this description right here. Read.
Which say they are Jews.
Which do what?
Which say they are Jews.
They say they are Jews. They converted to Judaism in 425 AD. All right? So they say they are Jews, but they say they are Jewish. They're lying to you.
Right.
They're identity thieves. They're not the real Jews. They're not the Jews of antiquity. They're not the color of Christ. They're not the color of Moses. They're not the color of King Solomon, who said, I'm black but comely, which says I'm black and beautiful. And in the 60s and 70s, black people said I'm black and beautiful. Want to know why? Because there's nothing new under the sun, and history repeats itself. Right. And it's in our soul. It's in our spirit. It's in our blood. It's in our heritage. to feel and say these things about ourselves. King Solomon said it, and then we repeated it 2,000 years later. Read.
And are not.
And what?
And are not.
They say they are Jews and are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. They are the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's who muted Kanye. That's who suspended Kyrie. That's who threatened to mute Dave Chappelle. That's who castrated, and I'm sorry, not castrated. That's who emasculated Nick Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? These are the fake Jews. This is their history and also their destruction. And you got anything else?
Nah.
And with that, we are the Isupk, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. If it's not of the Isupk under Commander General Yohana, it is not the truth. I am Priest and Officer of 1000 Mayad, joined by my right-hand man, Priest and Officer of 500 Lacombe. And this has been the Chicago Thursday Night History class. Shalom.